Hello everyone, and welcome to today's IELTS speaking class with me, Alexander. I will be going through some tips relating to today's class, and I will also be doing some speaking practice with students who are joining us live in order to brush up on their skills and make improvements going forward in the exam. So a very warm welcome to all those who are watching the class live today. If you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, then please let me know in the comments. Let me know your name and let me know where you are today. And if you know the answers to some of the questions that I will be asking at points in today's class, then please also let me know in the chat box. The more that you interact and the more that you participate in the class, the more useful it will be for all those involved. So I can see that we've got some students who are joining us live today in order to do speaking practice. I look forward to doing practice with these students very soon. I can see we've got Miko who has joined us in the class. So hello to you, Miko. And also we've got Eagle too. So welcome to you, Eagle. I look forward to more students joining us in order to do some live speaking practice as the class progresses. So who is there today watching us on YouTube and Facebook? If you are watching, let me know. As I said, let me know where you're watching from, and let me know your name as well. So we've got Abby who is watching. Hello to you, Abby. She's watching us live on YouTube. Where are you today, Abby? Let us know where you're watching from. Who else is in the class today? As I say, just let me know, and do get involved because it makes it more fun and more productive for all of us. Okay, let's see who else is involved in the class today. So I can see that Jennifer is watching us live from Georgia. A very warm welcome to you, Jennifer. And we've got Nwanguma from Nigeria. Hello to you, Nwanguma. Tilda is with us. Hello, Tilda. Abby is watching from Saudi Arabia. So a very warm welcome to you, Abby. Okay, so as we're all joining the class and getting involved, let me make you aware of the opportunity for those who are watching live on Facebook and YouTube that you could have in order to join us with the IELTS scholarship program. So let me just bring up some details on that now. Okay, so if you want to get more involved with what we're doing here at Swoosh English, and you would like the opportunity to get involved in doing, then do join us on the IELTS scholarship program, where you will be able to get support with your speaking, as well as all the other elements of the IELTS exam from us at Swoosh English and Connetics USA. We support more doctors, we support more nurses, I should say, than anyone to work and live in the United States of America. So if you would like the support that we could offer to help you achieve your dreams and ambitions, then do find out more about the scholarship program today. Just click on the link in the chat box and click on staff nurse, and you could receive all of the support for free. So who would not want to take advantage of this opportunity? Let's see who else has joined us today. I can see we've been joined by Salnar from the Philippines. Hello to you, Salnar. And Kale, who is watching us from Toronto. And Anu is also watching us. All are watching us live on Facebook. So a very warm welcome to all of you. Okay, so let's have have a look then at the tips for today's class. And what I want us to focus on today is paraphrasing. So one of the 4 criteria in IELTS speaking is fluency and coherence. One way in which we can improve our fluency and coherence is to paraphrase our ideas. This makes sure that what we're saying is clearly understood. So for example, if in the exam you get asked the question, do you think we're doing enough to combat global warming? An answer could be, I think what we're doing is not even the bare minimum. In other words, I really think we should be doing a lot more. So you can see that the phrase in other words is used to paraphrase the information that we're giving. Initially, we said it's not the bare minimum, and then we paraphrase that to answer the question directly to say that we're not doing enough and we should do more. So in other words is one way in which we can paraphrase our ideas. It's an expression we can use before clarifying our ideas. Are you aware of any other similar expressions that we can use in order to paraphrase and to clarify? If you are, do let me know. Any expressions similar to in other words that you're aware of? That's clearer to the examiner. What do we think? So do let me know in the chat box if you have some suggestions. Okay, so some suggestions that I have, I'm going to share with you now. So here are some expressions we could use. So what I mean is, okay, we can use that in order to clarify the information we're providing. We've made a statement and we're going to paraphrase it now. And so we can use this expression in order to make our ideas clearer. Another expression, what I'm trying to say is, again, has a very similar meaning. Or to put it another way, or as you can see, the final one, to put it more accurately. So you can see there are a number of different expressions that we can use. It's important that we don't always use the same expressions in the IELTS exam because we want to show variety in vocabulary and grammar. And the best way to do that is to use a variety of expressions in our speech. Snow Nguma is saying, which could be, depending on the context. Okay, depending on the context, that could work. I'd be interested in hearing that in a sentence. Alice, hello to you, Alice, says, I mean, yeah, so I mean, yeah, what I mean is, I mean, are quite similar. Eric, for instance, yeah, for instance, to provide an example of something, which certainly can help to clarify our ideas. We're actually going to look at that in a bit more detail next week in terms of providing examples, but it is a good way to clarify our points, certainly. Okay, good. Some good suggestions there. So let's have a look now in terms of some other sentences in which we could use these expressions and ways in which we could make our ideas clearer by using the expressions. So here we have a question. Do you think enough is being done to educate children about climate change? And the answer, we can see, children these days certainly know more about the issue than in the past, but I'm not sure if they're sufficiently informed. To put it another way, so how could we finish this response? We've had a response to the question, which we can see there on the screen, but in order to complete the response, in order to provide a little bit more clarity, we've used this expression to put it another way. So how could the response be completed? Let me know in the chat box if you have some suggestions. So I can see that Sophia has joined us from Eritrea in East Africa. Welcome to you, Sophia. And Precious is here as well. Palesa Charisma Lefogene. Is that right? Welcome to you. Welcome to the class. Okay, so any ideas then in terms of how we could finish this statement, this answer to the question, Children these days certainly know more about the issue than in the past, but I'm not sure if they are sufficiently informed. To put it another way, linking it back to the question, is enough being done, yes or no? Let's see. Okay. What do we think? Let's see. So a suggested way in which we could end this statement would be, to put it another way, more should be done to make children more fully aware of the issues. So we can see right at the end here, we've directly answered the question. Do you think enough is being done to educate children? We're saying no, more should be done to make children more fully aware. But we put a little bit of context into the response to begin with. So we start with a bit of context. Almost, if you think about when you're writing your essay for task 2, you have your introduction where you sort of set the scene a little bit, you create a context for your answer. This is what we can do. So we can create a bit of a context and then we can paraphrase by answering the question more directly. Okay, so this is one way in which we could end the response to this question. Clearly, what we're saying is, although some good work is being done, not enough is being done in order to educate children sufficiently. Okay. So we're going to have a look at another example in terms of how we can paraphrase and how we can answer the questions. So let's have a look at another example now. So how could we complete the response here? So do you think people, this is the question, do you think people spend too much time on social media? And here is a possible answer. If people enjoy social media, then it makes sense that they would want to use it often. However, I don't think it's good that so many people seem to use it so much. What I'm trying to say is, so what do we think? How could we complete the response here? Making sure that what we say is consistent with what we've said previously. So let me know if you have any suggestions. Let me know in the chat box. Yes, Sophia, in the chat box, you can give me your answer. So what have we got then? Can somebody give a suggestion in the chat box if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook? Or if you're in the class live, let me know. Post a comment where you can answer this question. What do we think? So we've got the ideas to begin with. Yeah, if people enjoy social media, it makes sense they would want to use it often. However, I don't think it's good that so many people seem to use it so much. So what I'm trying to say is, what do we think? Does the speaker in this case think people are using social media too much? Okay, great. So Alice has got a suggestion here. Use of social media can be addictive and it may not be advisable to use it a lot. Yeah, absolutely. So that's a way of paraphrasing and clarifying the response, isn't it? What I'm trying to say is use of social media can be addictive and it may not be advisable to use it a lot. Good. That is a good way of ending the sentence. It's pros and cons. Sophia, yeah, so there are pros and cons. Could be added, but it doesn't really answer the question, though, does it? Because the question is, do you think people spend too much time on social media? So if you end by saying there are pros and cons, we haven't directly answered the question. But thank you for the suggestion. Okay, so let's have a look at a sample answer. We'll see that now. So what I'm trying to say is, I think people do use it too much and they should think about reducing the amount of time they spend online. So there we have a direct answer to the question. We're paraphrasing by using what I'm trying to say is, and we're paraphrasing in order to make our answer as clear as possible. So it's one strategy that we can use in the speaking exam, and it's something which is worth practicing in order to improve your fluency and coherence while speaking. Okay, let me just see if there's any more suggestions. So Lighty is saying it makes them more sedentary lifestyle. Okay, yeah, so using social media too much can lead to a more sedentary lifestyle, absolutely. KL says, what I'm trying to say is that many people spend way too much time on social media, that they just put or post everything there, that privacy is no longer observed. Okay, yeah. So I guess, again, to come to the main point, is that they use it too much. And that's what you said, isn't it? They spend way too much time. So good, yeah, that would work as well. Sophia says most people are really addicted to it. Yeah, exactly. But just maybe something added just in terms of the direct answer to the question about people spending too much time on it. Okay, good. So let's do some speaking practice now then. I'm going to bring one of the students directly into the class. And I can see we've got some, it looks like we've got some new students here. So Miko, are you there? I'm going to bring you into the class for us to do some practice, if you are. Just let me know in the chat box and I'll bring you in. Just before I do bring one of the students into the class, we will be starting today's speaking practice by focusing on speaking part 3. And what I want you to do, if you are participating today as a speaker, is to use paraphrasing in order to make your ideas clearer. So give it a go. And if you're watching the class live on YouTube or Facebook and you notice a speaker do this, then please share what you have seen and what you've noticed in the chat box. So speaking part 3, for those who are less familiar with the IELTS, will last between 4 to 5 minutes. In the exam, the question will be linked to the topic in part 2, and the format is question and answer. So the examiner asks a question, and you, as the candidate, will give a response. It's important that your answers are clear and structured, and obviously paraphrasing is a way of achieving that. So the topic will be computer games. So let me bring the student into the class now. Okay, are you there, Miko?
Hi, Alex.
No. Oh, hi. Good to hear your voice. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm at home.
Okay, nice. Have you been part of the class before, Miko?
Yes, it's my second time joining this class.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, welcome to you. And which country are you in at the moment?
I'm from the Philippines, but I'm currently working here in Singapore.
Okay, good stuff. Okay then, Miko. So I'm going to ask you some questions based on part 3 of the speaking exam.
Okay.
And okay, and the topic is computer games. So the first question I'd like to ask you is, what kind of computer games are popular in your country?
Well, I'm not too sure about this, but recently I just read an article that nowadays Mobile Legends, that's the name of the game, is most common and popular, famous game played by the young generations in my country. And
Okay,
I believe this is a good platform for them to release their stress in the school, in their projects, and nowadays there are this what we call module in the class because of the pandemic. So they tend to spend more time in the computer. So uh, youngsters are using this way to release their emotions and anxieties. So that's
okay.
my thought about it.
What are the advantages of computer games?
Well, study shows that uh, com- playing in the computer uh, releases some of the bad hormones in our body, and at the same time, it makes our brain cells active and rejuvenate and recharge. So for us to uh, help in cognitive thinking and some logical reasoning,
Are there any
perhaps.
downsides? Okay, are there any downsides to people using computer games too often?
Yes, without a doubt. Uh, in fact, spending more time in computers give us the lifestyle that is sedentary, and as a result, people who tend to use it will be more addicted to the computer and make their life it will lead to obesity and for some children and young people.
Why do you think computer games are more popular now than they were in the past?
um well, I guess it's more convenient and accessible, and at the same time you don't need to go to a certain place for you to have this kind of game, unlike in the past. So I think that's my thought about it.
Okay, thank you very much, Miko. Some great answers to the questions. You expressed your ideas clearly, you expanded as well, really well on a lot of the questions. So that was great to hear. It shows a good level of fluency and coherence to be able to expand on your responses. There was some nice use of vocabulary. Rejuvenate was a nice word to use. Also, some nice adjectives. So, more convenient, more accessible. So, there was a good variety of vocabulary used. Nice ways of expressing opinion. So, without a doubt was used to show a strong opinion. Sedentary was also a nice word that you used as well in order to describe the situation if people play games too often. Uh, well, I guess another way of introducing an opinion, this time obviously less strong, but it's good that you can show variety in your opinions. When you have a strong opinion, you use an appropriate phrase, and when your opinion is less strong, you use an appropriate phrase as well. So lots of positive elements there. Just a couple of things to think about. So preposition, you use the preposition in quite a lot in the computer. It should be on. So people play on the computer or spend time on the computer. So yeah, just remember that the preposition with computer will be on. Just a little bit on pronunciation. So obesity. It was just the stress, or I should say, the sound of that second syllable. It's an e sound, so obesity is how you want to pronounce that. And just also a little bit in terms of word choice. So you talked about the reasons people use games, so to release their stress. A better term to use would be to relieve stress.
Relieve
That would
stress.
be,
Okay.
yeah, exactly,
Thank
as
you
as
so
a
much.
verb to use. No worries. But yeah, some really positive stuff there, Miko. So well done.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Take care.
Take care too.
Okay. Cheers. Okay, so let's continue with some practice. I'm going to bring Lighty into the class now, who I believe is a new student. Hello there, Lighty.
Hello, sir. Hi.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you? Sir?
I'm
Hello.
good, thank you. I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
Hello. Hello. I
Hi,
can
can you
hear
hear
you.
me there?
I,
No, you can't hear me? Can you not hear me, Lighty?
I can hear you now. Okay.
You can now. Okay, brilliant. Is this your first time in the class today?
Yeah, it's my first class. Today's my second.
Welcome. And where are you from?
Thank you.
Where are you from,
Hello.
Lighty?
I'm from India, in Kerala.
Oh, okay. Okay. Welcome to the class. Um, are you
Thank you,
living
sir.
in Kerala at the moment?
Uh, Hello. I'm living in Kerala.
You're living there. Okay, brilliant. So, Lighty, we're going to do a practice on a different topic, and
Okay.
the topic will be on clothing. So, let me bring this up now. So, the first question I'd like to ask you, Lighty, what do people usually consider when buying clothes?
I think most of the people nowadays considering about their fashion trend, people searching so many places they are searching their trends, uh, especially the online, searching the new fashion trends. After that only they buying their clothes.
Okay. And do you think it's a good idea to buy clothes online?
Uh, Honestly, I'm not like to buy through online because this from online we don't have get a chance to search according to our taste and according to our size. Uh, I always prefer to went to the shop and purchase directly from the shop.
Okay. And do you think that what people wear can affect their mood?
Uh, as of course people wear the dress according to their mood. Some dresses provide more confidence, especially some colors provide more confidence for some people. So people select their clothes according to their mood, and they like the dress uh, according to them.
Okay. And how do younger people treat fashion differently to older people?
I think nowadays most of the people are more fashionable and they're following the fashion trends. But the older generations always prefer to like following their traditional dress. Uh,
Okay. And do you think there are any differences between men and women when selecting clothes?
I think there is nowadays there is no difference in selecting dress. The men and women both are prefer mainly prefer the jeans, t-shirts. So there is no gender difference in selecting dress. But in the past, I think the past, most of the people select the according their gender difference when they are searching the dress.
Okay, thank you very much there, Lighty.
Thank you, sir.
So in terms of responding to the questions, your responses were clear, they were direct, and generally speaking, you were using appropriate vocabulary and grammar. Um, what I'll just say is that you could maybe expand on your answers a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe you could give some examples.
Okay.
So, yeah, when you're talking about differences between men and women, so you said before there were differences, now there are fewer differences. Maybe an example in terms of how we've become more similar. That might be useful just to expand on your points a little bit more because it shows more fluency.
Okay, sir.
Just be careful as well about repeating words from the question. So there were times where you repeated back, for example, affect their mood and select clothes. So you were repeating certain words directly from the question. So it shows more variety if you're able to paraphrase rather than just using words from the question. So that would be a useful point to bear in mind as well. Um,
Okay, sir.
but yeah, so that's what I would focus on, developing in terms of giving more examples, providing more detail in order to show more fluency, and also avoiding repetition
Okay.
in your speech. I think that'd be a good way to make improvements going forwards. Okay, Lighty.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you very much, and well done for getting involved. Okay. So, for those watching, let me just bring a little bit of information up in terms of the way in which you can get directly involved in this class. And you can do so by joining us here at the IELTS Scholarship Program. We at Swoosh English and Connetics USA are doing our utmost to support nurses who wish to live and work in the USA. So if you would like to get lots of extra support and help in your dreams of living and working in the USA, then you can sign up today. Just click on the link in the chat box in order to get more information and click on the option Staff Nurse. You can get all of this support potentially for free. Okay, so moving forward, we're going to have a look now at education, and I'm going to bring in a new student in order to do some practice here. So Eric, I'm going to bring into the class. Hi there, Eric. Hi, Eric, are you there? Okay, it doesn't look like Eric is here.
Can you hear me, Alex?
Let me try this. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes,
Good to hear you, Eric. How are you doing?
I'm not bad, Alex.
Okay, good. Just let me know, Eric, where are you joining us from today?
I'm from the Philippines now.
Wonderful. Okay, so Eric, we're going to continue with some part 3 speaking practice, this time on the topic of education. So I'd like to ask you, in your opinion, how are education priorities today different from those in the past?
Well, I think nowadays education is still the priorities of most people. Like even if we're in the pandemic, we are the government still looking for any solutions for problems in regards to face-to-face classes. That, for instance, they are using now the online just to pursue with education.
Hi there, Eric. Sorry, you're going a bit quiet at times.
Okay, sorry for
I
that.
think maybe it's the connection. No, it's okay. Could you just repeat your answer?
Okay, what I've mentioned earlier is that the government now is giving priorities to education. Like for instance, they are using the online platforms instead of the face-to-face classes, since we are in pandemic and it is not allowed to have uh, classes inside the classroom. So I think in that way, uh, it's very obvious that the education is being prioritized.
What is your opinion of the way that languages are taught in school?
Could you repeat the question, Alex?
Certainly. What is your opinion of the way that languages are taught in school?
Well, I think my opinion is that um, there are varieties of way on how to teach the students, and the use of different languages is important and should be used based on the how students will understand the lectures and lessons.
Sorry, again, you went a little bit quiet there, Eric.
Uh, is there? I think it's more of the sorry.
Connection. Yeah, there's a bit of a
Yeah.
difficulty. All right, we'll try one more question, Eric. How
Okay.
can the type of school you go to affect your career success?
Well, I think the type of school doesn't really affect the success of a person. I mean, it depends on the person alone, or how he learned or she learned from their school. And hello, can you hear me? Hello, Alex. Can you hear me?
Hi, you there, Eric? Yeah, you went quiet again. What was the final thing that you said?
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the school itself affect the success of the student because the way they teach and the way they presented their lecture differed on
Sorry,
their
Eric. It keeps going quiet. Yeah, I think
hello.
we just need to address the connection a bit there. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for
No worries. No worries.
okay. Sorry.
Yes,
I mean, I'll try it
that's
next time.
yeah. We'll give it a try next time, definitely.
Okay. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Eric.
Sorry.
No worries. Okay, yeah. So unfortunately, we couldn't hear Eric very clearly there. I mean, there was some good use of language that we heard. So online platforms was a nice term, wasn't it? Instead of face-to-face classes, um, directly answering the question, the school you go to doesn't really affect the success of a person. So there was some paraphrasing there, but yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't really hear the responses too clearly. So let me just bring Eagle into the class now. How are you doing, Eagle?
I'm good. Currently at
Good,
work.
good. You're at work at the moment. Are you working hard?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, Eagle, let's continue with the same topic because we couldn't really, unfortunately, hear Eric too clearly there. So, I'd like to ask you the question: what do you think? How are education priorities now different compared to the past?
Well, I believe that education is a great way for us to be successful, and still, it is actually one of the priorities that everyone is really looking into it, and it is actually the way for us to be able to achieve our dreams in life. And definitely most of the individuals before are usually doing that the same way, but then again they are not just uh, give much priority of achieving the higher educations because of the situation in their family.
Okay. And do you think it's important to get a university degree?
Definitely, it is actually it is actually essential for us to be able to um, achieve what we need to have in our lives, and of course to study our chosen profession. So it is a good way in order for us to practice uh, our profession in order to have the great career, and it is a path for us to be able to compete or with the other foreign nationals, especially if you are pursuing your career abroad.
Some people say that universities are too expensive. Do you agree?
Yes, especially in our situation right now, and because of the emerging technology, there are various factors that usually affect in each universities, especially if you chose um, a very expensive subject or course. So it is actually depends upon that specific course. Well, it um, it is not actually necessary to for us to step.
Okay. And what changes do you think will happen in classrooms in the near future?
Well, if we have the same situation, so brought about the global pandemic, so maybe we can still practice the online platforms, and we usually have our classes virtually. So rather than doing a face-to-face conversation, so I think it is a good way for us to save money, and even in order for us to protect ourselves from getting any virus outside.
Okay. Thank you very much, Eagle, for those responses. So you've definitely improved, I would say, in your fluency. You're speaking with fewer pauses. There's less hesitation, which is a great step forward, and I think that's going to show as well that you do have more competence in fluency than you demonstrated on some occasions. So that's great. The use of languages there as well, because you're speaking at a slightly faster pace, you're using more variety in your language. So, one of the priorities, this is examples of language you've used: achieve our dreams, our chosen profession, um, emerging technology. So yeah, there's some really nice use of language in there as well. What I would just say is, in terms of improvement, is that for some of the questions, there was a bit of a lack of coherence. So the fluency is good, but sometimes you are being a bit inconsistent in your responses. So, for example, when I asked you the question about the cost of universities, you said that yes, especially with the pandemic, it is too expensive. But then you said it depends on the course you're studying. So there's a bit of a contradiction there.
Okay.
It would be better to say,
Yeah.
well, some courses are too expensive, but it depends a bit on what you're studying, and then you can give some examples. So just make sure that as we were looking at the beginning of the class, that what you're saying, it links together, that what you say at the end of the response is a continuation, a logical continuation of what you said at the beginning. So I think that will be a good point just to focus on going forwards. But yeah, like I say, definitely some improvements there, Eagle. So well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers. Okay, so let's move on to look at part two a little bit now. And we can do that by looking, first of all, at a quick description. So this part of the exam will usually last between 3 to 4 minutes. It begins with the presentation of the question, which you will have 1 minute to prepare for, and then you should speak on the topic for up to 2 minutes. So you should always aim to speak for the full 2 minutes here, because if you do not, there's a chance the examiner will ask you a follow-up question. So always aim to speak for the 4 minutes, or until you are interrupted by the examiner. So the topic we're going to be looking at now is a promise. So let's have a look at this topic here. And to do some practice with us now, I'm going to bring Alj into the class. Hi, Alj, are you there? Are you there, Al? No? No, Al? Okay. In that case, let me bring Angela into the class. Hi, Angela, are you there? Oops. No, Angela? Okay. So it looks like we're having a few connection problems. Let me bring Alice into the class. Are you there, Alice?
Yes, I am, Alex.
Hi, Alice. How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yes.
Okay, Alice. Can you see the topic on your screen?
Yes, I can, Alex.
Brilliant. Okay, so you've got 1 minute then, Alice, to prepare on this topic, and then you should speak for up to 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Brilliant. Okay, Alice. So please describe a time you made a promise to someone.
Well, this sounds like a tough one, but I would want to talk about an incident that happened about 1 month ago. I had traveled to one of the areas within my capital city. We had a function as a family. And then in the process, one of my brother-in-law requested that that is myself and one of my brothers, we join him the following day to attend a ceremony that was happening at their home. And I was very tired then. And I remember, because I didn't want to disappoint him, I had to promise him that I was going to attend the function. But little did I know that it was going to be a very huge task for me. But I was ready to sacrifice because he had also sacrificed to join us as a family. And he really played a big role, and especially in terms of helping us to transport some of the friends that we had to go with. That day, I had to wake up very early and shelve a few things that I needed to sort out. And by the end of the day, I felt like it was actually quite tasking, but I had to ensure that I didn't disappoint him, having made the promise. And by doing so, I had to go out of my way. But what I was happy about by the end of the day is that when we attended the function, the mother was actually equally overjoyed to see us. And I would say it was worth of a sacrifice because I hadn't, or rather, I had not been there for quite some time. And this made me learn a lesson that every time you want to achieve anything, it is always good to prepare yourself psychologically, and you can achieve anything, regardless of how tough it may sound to be. And going forward, I learned a lesson that I can always do anything and achieve anything because
Okay, thank
it's
you.
only
Thank you very
a
much,
matter of
Alice. That's great. Yeah, so well done. You managed to expand on the topic to speak for the full 2 minutes and beyond. So that was really good. And yeah, you gave a really nice response. You had more to say, didn't you?
Yeah. But it's a tough one. And one of the challenges that I've had, Alex, I don't know whether it's a problem. Every time I have a task too, when it comes to writing down what I need to say, I find it always, I always find it hard. In fact, they cannot, I didn't write anything.
Okay,
So I'm not sure
well,
what I should do.
Yeah, I mean, you have enough fluency to be able to keep speaking, and that's the point.
Okay.
And what you say makes sense and it links together. So if it works for you, don't make too many changes would be my advice. Because you are able to deal with the tasks successfully. So yeah, and as Patrick was saying as well, you told a nice story. It was engaging, and there were lots of nice details in there. Nice collocations, attend the ceremony. You were also referring to, saying about your brother-in-law, you didn't want to disappoint him. You made the promise, which is from the question as well, but it's obviously just demonstrating that what you're saying is relevant. Some nice expressions, for quite some time was used in there as well. So yeah, there was some nice use of language in there. Just in terms of variety, I thought possibly, and this is just sort of like extending a bit, I thought possibly we could have used some past perfect. So there's a lot of past simple that was being used in there, and you were using that consistently, you were using it correctly. But we can use a past perfect sometimes just to show a bit of variety. So you might say that he'd been wanting me to come to the ceremony for a long time, for example, just to show something that had happened in the past before another event in the past. But yeah, that's just to show even more variety than what you've already demonstrated. So yeah, but like I said, there was some really good stuff in that, and the way that you linked ideas was great as well. There's just one point where you said, having made the promise, which was really nice, using sort of having as a way of linking points together. Then you said by doing so, I had to, and then I think describe the sacrifice that you made. But in that case, I think it would have been slightly more appropriate to say, in order to do so, or so that I could do so. I think that would have been slightly more appropriate as a linker there. But your approach worked really well, Alice. There's certainly no issue in terms of how you were able to use your fluency in this section of the exam. So well done.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so we've got time to do one more question. So let's do that now. And the question we're going to be looking at is, let's see, a favorite song. Let's do this one. So we're going to bring in a student to talk about their favorite song. Okay, and who is in the class? Let's see. We'll try and bring in a new student who's not practiced before. Inna, are you there? Hello, Inna. Are you there, Inna? No? Okay, doesn't look like it. Svetlana, let's see if Svetlana's there. Hi, Svetlana, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm doing great.
Good. Is this the first time you joined the class, Svetlana?
Yes, this is my first time.
Okay, well, welcome to you today. Which country are you in at the moment?
I'm from the Philippines.
Okay, okay. Well, Svetlana, can you see the topic on the screen?
Yes, I do.
Brilliant.
Yes,
Okay.
I can see it.
So you've got a minute then, Svetlana, to make some notes and to prepare, and then you should speak on the topic for up to 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay, I will try.
Brilliant. Okay, let's go. Okay, so Svetlana, are you ready?
Not quite, but I will try.
So please describe your favorite song.
My favorite song is a song by Taylor Swift. The title of the song is Only the Young. And the song is about freedom and um, being free, being able to run and being able to do what 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 the youngsters wanted to do and to speak their mind and um, it's like being not rebellious but being able to act on what they want to happen in the society. I first heard this song last January in 2020. She released this song together with her what do you call it? Um, Documentary called Miss Americana. And what I love the song is because it is quite moving. It's quite rebellious, and yeah, that's all.
Okay, so why do you prefer this song to other songs?
I I think it's like being part of the society The song is about being actively speaking what's on your mind, not just letting people do uh I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry, Svetlana, that's fine, thank you. Okay, so there are a lot of positives here. I mean, you do seem to have, I mean, your pronunciation is really accurate, it's very clear. There's no issues there in terms of your use of accurate phonemes, accurate vowel sounds, and also with intonation as well. You've got good variety, so it's very easy to follow your speech. And also, I think you've got a good level of fluency. I just think the only reason that you didn't speak for the full 2 minutes was just because you ran out of ideas. So
Yeah.
is part two? Have you not had a lot of practice doing part two previously?
Yes.
Is that what it is? Yeah. So I think this is just something which you get better at with practice. I mean, you've heard some of the students today, and some of them have been practicing for quite a while, and so you can really hear that they're used to expanding on ideas. So in this case, you're talking about a song. You're focusing a lot on the lyrics, but also, you could talk about what kind of song it is. So is it a pop song? You can talk about the fact that, where the singer comes from. You could have details there. You could talk about whether the song is popular with your friends. Does it remind you of being in a particular place or at a party? Do you listen to it in the car? So, there's all sorts of things we can do. So don't feel like you have to only stick to what is on the topic card. You can expand on the topic card, and that will help you to develop your fluency. So that would be the main thing to focus on, Svetlana. Just making sure that you are able to add ideas. Obviously, use that 1 minute preparation time just to make some extra notes, so that you're prepared to keep speaking for the full 2 minutes. But there's some nice use of language. The song's about freedom. You said, it's not rebellious, but being able to act. It's quite nice. She released the song, so that was some appropriate vocabulary. And then you describe the song as moving as well. So there was some nice use of vocabulary in there. There was a point where you hesitated when you were trying to think of the words, and you said, "What do you call it?" And rather than pausing for a while, because you're looking for the word documentary, it'd be better to paraphrase it. So like something which is released on television, which shows the backstage or what happened in terms of the making of the song. And then it will be obvious to the listener that you're talking about a documentary, and maybe usually the word will come to you after a few seconds, but it's better not to pause, because obviously in this stage it's only you talking. So with any pauses, that's going to be impacting your fluency quite a lot. So try to paraphrase words rather than pausing when you're giving your responses in the IELTS exam. But yeah, lots of positive things, like I say, particularly with your use of pronunciation, and your grammar was accurate as well. I didn't pick up on grammatical errors, so there is a lot of positive elements to build on. I just think more practice doing part two would be really useful for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Svetlana, and welcome to the class. Your first appearance.
Yeah, I was quite nervous.
It's natural. You'll be less nervous next time.
Right.
Okay, thank you. So thank you to all those who participated in the class today, and thank you to those who've been watching us live on YouTube and Facebook. I hope you have found the class useful. There were those on Facebook and YouTube who wanted to get involved in the class and do practice directly in the class as well. If you would like to do that, then do click on the description in order to find out more information in terms of how you could do it by joining the IELTS Scholarship Program. So let me just share how you could do that for future classes. And you can do that by signing up today with, as I say, the IELTS Scholarship Program here at Swoosh English and Connetics. We provide classes like this and other support in order to help you pass your IELTS exam. So if you have ambitions of living and working in the US as a nurse, then click on the link in the chat box today in order to find out more information, and click on the option staff nurse. you could get all of the support for free. So thank you once again to all those who are watching the class. And as I say, I look forward to more speaking practice taking place next week and providing more feedback. So enjoy the rest of the week and have a very good weekend. Until next week, take care.